Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you 4 ketogenic meal recipes that I hope you're going to love. They're very low in carbs, so great if you're in keto diet and on low carb diet really. The first recipe I'm going to start with is keto teriyaki chicken. You can make it in just under 15 minutes. It's a great dinner or lunch option, and I think your family will actually love it. Even the kids. So to begin with, we're going to take out 1 pound of skinless chicken thighs. You'll notice that my board is very yellow. I'm sorry for that. I am working on it, okay? I have yellow boards because of my dishwasher. Don't blame me. So now I'm going to cut the chicken thighs into 1-inch pieces, which is quite good for cooking them up. And I'm going to take out my frying pan, heat it up, and add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So we're going to saute the chicken for around 6 to 8 minutes, and while we're doing it, we're actually going to prepare the sauce. I'm going to take out my magical white bowl and I'm going to add soy sauce to it. It's 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, and then I'm adding 2 tablespoons of erythritol, which is just a sugar substitute. It's an alcohol that we actually don't digest, which means we actually don't get any sugar out of it. Now it's time for garlic. If you have minced garlic, great, just use it. I don't have it. I love fresh garlic. So I'm taking 1 clove of garlic, I'm peeling it, and I'm going to use garlic press to press it into the sauce. For the recipe, we're also going to need 1 teaspoon of ginger, which is grated. So I actually don't have minced ginger. I'm using fresh ginger instead. I'm basically taking my ginger, peeling it, the regular, really, and I'm just going to grate it. That's it. It takes some time, but it's a good way to get fresh ginger into your sauce. And then I gently use my teaspoon to basically just take the ginger off, and I'm going to add to the sauce. For the sauce, we'll actually also need 1/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. You can use even a little bit more of it if you see that your sauce is not thickening up later on, but now we're using 1/4 of it. And to finish it up, I'm adding a little bit of water. It's 1/2 cup approximately. And I'm just going to mix the sauce as well as I can. Obviously, it's not gonna be one smooth texture, but that's okay. And finally, after cooking your chicken for around 6 to 8 minutes, we're going to add this sauce into the frying pan. And now in the perfect world, you would like to reduce the heat and let the chicken cook for around 5 to 8 minutes until the sauce thickens up and coats the chicken. That's actually very important. So it might take you longer sometimes. Sometimes it takes 10 to 15 minutes even. Be patient, it's alright. So as you can see, I'm removing some of the chicken from the frying pan once it's finished. Feel free to add some salt. I'm not doing it because I actually prefer meals with less salt. But what's very important is to get green onion and slice it. Green onion really goes well with teriyaki chicken, so please do it. We're just going to sprinkle over some sesame seeds. Now, if you're allergic, obviously don't do it. But sesame seeds really go well with this chicken in particular. And I'm going to sprinkle over green onion. Now, this teriyaki chicken really goes well with low carb vegetables because we want to keep the meal low carb, but you could also use this salad. I basically just mixed rocket salad with tomatoes, and I'm really loving the combination. Now, so that you know, this teriyaki chicken has only 4.4 grams of net carbs, which is amazing. So you can definitely have it when you're on strict ketogenic diet. The next recipe I would like to share with you is these Parmesan crusted pork chops, which are ketogenic and gluten-free. Honestly, if you're looking for a little bit more special dinner that's quick to make, this is the recipe you want to try, especially if you like your chops. So firstly, you want to make sure that your pork comes to room temperature, and then you want to pat it dry. Make sure you salt it and pepper it a little bit. And now I'm just going to set the pork aside, and I'm going to continue with the rest. So now we want to make sure we get grated Parmesan cheese. Actually, I don't have grated Parmesan cheese. I just have Parmesan, so I'm going to grate it myself. I also noticed that it's actually just a cheaper way to get your Parmesan because the grated one is more expensive. So you want to make sure that we have about 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese that's grated. The next thing we're going to need is crushed pork rinds. While you can crush pork rinds yourself on a large plate, with your own hands, I'm actually going to use food processor because it's a bit easier to do it that way. Plus, food processors are just super useful for anything you make, honestly. highly recommend. Especially if you're on low carb diet and you make cauliflower rice and you just enjoy cooking by yourself. A food processor comes in so handy when cutting and just making delicious meals, to be honest. But enough of babbling now. Okay, I'm going to take a cutting board, but you could take a large plate, and I'm just going to spread the Parmesan all over it. And you want to sprinkle over your pork rinds. And we're going to have around half a cup of pork rings. So when you process your pork rinds, make sure that's approximately that amount. And another layer is just 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. The next one will be parsley, but first we actually have to chop it. Take your time chopping parsley and then basically sprinkle it over the Parmesan. And the last thing I'm going to do is get some lemon and basically grate some of its zest all over the board. Some of the zest might stick to the grater, so make sure you just scrub it off. The next thing we're going to want to do is basically mix all the ingredients on the board with our fingers. And then when it's mixed, we're just gonna make sure that the board is nicely covered again. We'll just spread it all around. Now I'm just going to take my glass bowl out and get 1 large egg. And I'm just going to whisk it. After doing enough of whisking, we're going to take out our frying pan. Make sure it's non-sticky one. As you can see, I'm using just the regular frying pan and it is sticky, so it's a bit harder to actually make these pork chops crusted. So you want to get the frying pan that's not sticky. I'm going to take the pork chop, put it in a beaten egg and make sure it's fully covered by the egg so it's sticky. Then place it in the coating of Parmesan and make sure you cover it as well as you can with the mixture that we just made. You're going to do it with both of the chops and then you're gonna place them in the frying pan. We're going to fry each side for around 3-4 minutes. But first I have to tell you something. I made a mistake. I didn't use non-sticky pan because I didn't have one. I move all the time, so I didn't have it. So don't make that mistake. Use a frying pan that's non-sticky. It's going to be much easier for the crust to stick to the meat. So after 3-4 minutes, you're going to flip the pork chops and cook them for another 3-5 minutes until the surface is firm and nice. When you're going to use a non-sticky pan, unlike me, the crust will actually stick onto the meat much better than it is sticking right now. So don't make my mistake once again. And voila, this is our Parmesan crusted pork chop. I'm serving it with a little bit of salad just because I like it that way. But you can serve it with pickles, only the low carb veggies you like, anything else, even with low carb cauliflower rice, whatever you prefer. Anyway, it's a really nice quick dinner that looks a little fancy if you make it that way. And come on, who doesn't love a pork chop? Finally, each pork chop is a real fat bomb and actually very high in protein, which is very nice, and very low in carbs, just under 5 grams of net carbs, with 63 grams of protein. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now, this is a recipe I truly wanted to share with you. These are keto sweet chili chicken rolls, and they are ketogenic, with just 4 grams of net carbs per 1 roll. This is amazing, they're delicious, and I highly recommend them. If you love sweet chili sauce and if you love chicken and if you love meal prep, to be honest, because they're great for meal prep. I'm going to start by taking 1.5 pounds of chicken breast and I'm going to get my meat hammer and flatten them out. Don't be afraid to give all your energy to that because it's not an easy job by any means. So once my chicken is flat, I'm going to cut it into 3 by 4 inch pieces. You don't have to be exactly precise, just be approximate, that's gonna work. The next thing I'm going to do is get 3 cloves of garlic and peel them. And I'm going to take out my glass bowl. We'll use the glass bowl to make our sauce. We're going to start with 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'm just going to use a garlic press to press in all that garlic that I've just peeled. Obviously scoop out whatever is left. We want to use every bit of garlic we can. Then add 2 teaspoons of paprika and 2 tablespoons of sweet chili sauce. Just make sure it's actually low carb, otherwise we're gonna get all that sugar that we don't want. And then I'm just going to mix the sauce as well as I can. Now I'm just getting a bigger glass bowl and adding all the chicken breasts I have into it. And then I'm going to add the sauce. Use your beautiful hands to cover the chicken with the sauce to make sure that it really marinates well. And I'm just going to cover it with cling film. This is where I just basically put the chicken into the fridge for 30 minutes to make sure that it marinates a little bit. And I'm going to preheat the oven to 430 Fahrenheit or 220 Celsius degrees. Meanwhile, we're going to prepare our vegetables. Yes, that's true. I'm going to take 1 onion and I'm going to cut it into thin strips. We're aiming about 1/3 of a cup of white onion, to be honest. And then I'm just going to take red bell pepper and cut it in half. And then basically cut it into thin strips. And finally, I'm just going to take the chicken out of the fridge. You can place the chicken strips either on a plate, anywhere you want really. I'm placing it on a baking tray. So the idea here is to place vegetables in the middle of the meat. I'm going to use green beans, onion, and red bell pepper. Make sure you're not adding too many vegetables, otherwise you won't be able to close the meat up. And then I'm just using wooden toothpicks to secure it. And now you're just going to have to repeat the process with other chicken, and it's actually quite fun. You feel like you're making art in a way, because they do look quite cute, these rolls, you know? And once your chicken rolls are ready, you're gonna place them on a baking tray, and we're going to bake it in the oven for 25 minutes. You don't have to flip them or anything, so that's quite useful. You can actually get something done in those 25 minutes. The final result is this delicious keto sweet chili chicken rolls that you haven't tasted before. Hopefully. They're low carb, keto friendly, and you can use them for meal prep, for lunch, for dinner. Honestly, they're just so versatile and so delicious. Baking them gives them a little bit of crispiness, and the veggies just taste so amazing, especially with the onion inside. I love these, can't you tell? The last recipe I'd like to share with you is keto cheesy cauliflower pancakes. Well, now I come from Lithuania, and most of our traditional dishes actually are made out of potatoes, including potato pancakes. So I grew up on potato pancakes. So just imagine eating low-carb diet has been difficult in many ways. And this is one of the dishes I actually miss the most. So here are keto cheesy cauliflower pancakes that I hope you're gonna like. And let's just start. So the main ingredient, as you already guessed, is cauliflower. So we want to take a cauliflower floret and want to make sure to actually wash it first. And then I'm just going to break it apart. I'm just going to put all the cauliflower into a bowl and I'm going to wash it again. And then I'm going to take a food processor and shred it. Now this is where a food processor comes in handy. If you actually had to grate it yourself, all the cauliflower, oh my god, it would take ages. But with this food processor, it only takes me a couple minutes, and this is wonderful. So once you shred all the cauliflower, make sure you take all of it away and put it into a glass bowl. So what we want to do with this cauliflower right now is to steam it. To do that, I'm actually going to use a steamer basket. It's much cheaper than getting the actual steamer, only $10, and it will last you forever. As you can see, I'm just boiling some water and adding the steamer basket in with all the cauliflower. And we're gonna want to steam this for 8 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to get mature cheddar cheese and I'm just going to grate it. Obviously, if you have shredded cheese, that's great, just use it. And I found that using regular cheese is actually cheaper, and actually I just love grating. It's very relaxing. So we want to make sure we have around 1 cup of cheddar cheese that's shredded. Once again, I'm going to use my glass bowl to put all the cauliflower in. And while the cauliflower is still hot, we want to add the shredded cheese and mix it as well as we can. In this way, the cheddar will actually melt and we'll get this one consistent texture. Now I'm just going to break in 2 large eggs into the mixture. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. Add more salt if you like salt, or black pepper if you want. I tend to add more black pepper because I just think it tastes better. So now bear in mind, this is confidential information. I'll show you what I've done wrong. Enjoy! So first I took my regular frying pan. Added enough olive oil. It's around 2 tablespoons of olive oil, to be honest. And I started forming my pancakes. And you know, I'm cooking, I'm enjoying the whole procedure. And then I realized, you know what? I can't actually lift those pancakes up. Why? Because the pan is not actually non-sticky. Hello, Carolina. Nice to meet you. Anyway, the only thing that had non-sticky surface was my wok. Yes, you heard it right. So slowly but surely, I fried my pancakes in the wok. So the idea here is to cook each side of your pancake for a couple minutes so it gets firm and you can flip it easily. But you gotta get the temperature right for it not to burn, and that's the difficult part. That's where practice and just trying out things will come in handy. What's the last step? We get some green onion, we chop it. Oh, and we get some sour cream. Obviously, the taste of these pancakes is not like the potato ones, but it's really, really close. And it tastes delicious. I literally ate them in 5 minutes. You're welcome. So I hope you had fun watching all these recipes. Are you gonna make any of them? Are you on ketogenic diet? Please comment below. Check my website allnutritious.com for more recipes like that. And check the links below to get the actual recipes that I just showed you in the video. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day and take care.